everyone, it's great to have you join us, and this is a wonderful opportunity to delve into the mind of our resident SEO consultant and expert, Nick. So I'm going to introduce Nick to you, and I've got some questions for Nick because SEO is such a vast subject, but something that everybody who has a website needs to be aware of, but it's confusing. There's lots of different parts to it. So thank you so much, Nick, for jumping on and sharing with us your expertise. We'd love to know a little bit about you. How did you get into SEO and what do you do for a living?
Hi Bits, good to see you this afternoon. Well, I've been in the field of SEO for 12 years, really by accident. We started a business about 15 years ago, which was online sales. Before that, I ran a fairly large company, did property maintenance, so there's no sort of connection before, at all with that. But we started the business doing online sales. We sold, believe it or not, musical instruments. And over a period of time, we became one of the largest in Europe for online sales of musical instruments. So we started the business. It's all online, and I knew nothing about web design or SEO. So we just dove straight into it. And I thought, oh, this is like really bad. I know nothing about this. So I literally spent 12 months learning as much as I could, and then it's just grown from there. And we closed that business about 4 years ago, and then since then I've just been running my own agency in North London.
Wow, you have such a wealth of business experience.
Well,
and it's such a privilege for us to have you here sharing, all the things that you've learned about SEO, because for each one of us to do that, it would take us probably more than 12 months. But Nick, what is SEO and why is it important? Why is it something that we should at least have some understanding of?
I think there's two answers to that. I think we can look at it as a consumer. So, for example, if you're in the market to buy a laptop, you'd probably log onto your PC, do a search for laptop on Google, and we'd see the top results. You'd probably look at a few of results. Would probably be all the big companies there, like PC World, etc., etc. And there's a fair chance we'd purchase it. So that's the sort of consumer side. But for the actual business side, then obviously all the traffic is on page 1. We may go on to page 2 or page 3 or page 4, but I think the percentage is 90% of people now just stay on page 1.
Wow, that's huge.
It is, and it's quite a concern. So if you are somebody that sells laptops, you need to be on page 1. Otherwise, you're not going to get any sales. So search engine optimization is optimizing your website, customer's website, whatever, or website it is, so they appear on page 1 and they literally grab all the sales.
Wow, so it's such a powerful tool for getting you in front of your ideal audience and starting off that journey. But how does it work? How does Google actually rank a site?
Well, there's about 200 factors on the page. So, it's literally working through those factors on each page, making sure it's being sort of correctly optimized. Then after that, we look at who the competitors are, see what they're doing. We look at content. User experience has been really important this year. So it's probably about 15 main items that are worked on and then increased over a period of time, so the customer appears on page 1.
Wow. Gosh, that is more vast than I thought. 200 points for each page. Wow. Okay. So this explains why it's such a competitive area. and why some expertise can really help you leverage getting seen in the online space. So the way it works, is SEO a one-off service that it's really important for people to invest in, you know, when they have maybe a new website or they're doing a particular launch? What's the best way of going about it?
Well, this is probably the downfall of this business, as in, if you have got an online shop, then, or a service, it doesn't have to be a shop, it could be a builder or a technician or vehicle engineer or somebody that's, you know, sells cakes, whatever it could be. If you're online, unfortunately, Google changes things nearly every day. We have like major updates, which are about every sort of 3 months.
Wow.
So if we got a site, say on page 1, and they're ranking on sort of position number 3, depending on what the changes may be, then decides what position the website stays at. So it may stay at page, you know, page 1, position 3 for a week or a month or 6 months. But the other factor is your competitors are also investing in SEO, and obviously you'll want your space. So the whole playground is moving all the time. It's almost like a virtual game of chess. That's what it feels like, because apart from we're competing against Google, we're also playing the game of chess with the competitors as well. So it's like a saga that continues.
That's a really helpful analogy to understand how this space works, because it's so easy to think, you know, you could have an SEO boost and, you know, you've done a great job, which is better than nothing.
Yeah.
But to think of it as an ongoing game, an ongoing race, is really important to get the most benefit out of it. So yeah, it's important to consider the long-term investment and expertise that goes into SEO, that it's not just a one-off.
I think we're stuck with it. Unfortunately, I'm old enough to remember the old-fashioned books that came through the door, yellow pages.
Yeah.
All that's stopped now. So, you know, the only option is, you know, the internet.
Yes, Google.
So, you know, but saying about the movement of websites, if it's something quite unusual, like I work with a guy that does artificial grass, well, that's sort of fairly sort of competitive. We've got about 15 people in a 30-mile radius. So his sort of rankings stay very much the same. But for something like legal services, which is very, very competitive, we see movements literally per hour of things moving up and down. So it really depends on what sector you're in as well.
Wow, it's quite a minefield. For some of our viewers out there, not everyone is very techy, but everyone has their own business or organization that they're hoping, you know, will be found online. Others will be able to access their content easily. Do you have 3 tips that most people might be able to do that would just help boost their SEO on their websites themselves? Are there three areas that you would say businesses should start thinking about and making tweaks on? And any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the 3 most important things we've seen over the past 12 months is having good quality content. So if you've got a service, then instead of having like 100 words describing, then do at least 500 to 600 words and describe exactly what you do. You know, you could talk about what areas you cover, etc., etc. So good quality content. Number 2 would be answering questions. So going back to the laptop, perhaps have a page, you know, top 10 laptops, something like that, because these are the sort of questions people are searching for. They're asking for, you know, what's the best laptop, what's the cheapest laptop, what's the best performance. If you've got a page like that, there's a high chance that Google will say, you know, you're answering specific questions, which gives your site authority, so you're going to get more traffic. And thirdly, what's really important is keep the site interesting and exciting. You know, we all bookmark websites. I bookmark hundreds, but we bookmark those because we want to go back to them. And the reason we go back to them is either they're updating regularly, so we're seeing, you know, more products or more news, etc., or it's because they're interesting, we find them fun, or, you know, something like that. So keep the site fresh and exciting, and then people will bookmark it and they continue to come back.
Wow, that's super helpful. Thank you so much, Nick. So providing really good quality content and going deeper into it is useful. Having maybe some blog posts or articles looking at questions that people might have, that your target audience might have, or even having a frequently asked questions page can be helpful. And then, having something that keeps people engaged long term. This is really interesting because it's easy to think, oh, I've created my website, job done. But it's a constant representation of you in the online space. So it's keeping that conversation and that interest going. Those are brilliant tips. Thank you so much, Nick.
That's okay.
It's been such a joy having you here, and thank you for your time and unpicking the world of SEO. And if people would like to work with you further, and what's the best way that they could reach out to you, Nick?
Okay, they can contact me via email, which is nick@triple8triple888 SEO.com, or via units. Contact me first and you'll pass it on to me.
Yeah, oh, that's super, that's brilliant. Yes, for everyone who works with me, Nick is our resident SEO consultant and expert. So for all my clients out there, if you're watching this and you're thinking, it might be worth, you know, doing a little bit more work on getting more visible on Google, then we have Nick with us. So no excuses, huh?
Always happy to have a chat.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Nick.
Okay,
really great having you on board, and we'll catch up with you soon, I'm sure. So for the time being, bye everyone. We'll catch you later.